So let's talk about the format. I think, so I've been, watching YouTubers and just kind of seeing how people are feeling, talking to my friends, talking to people at locals about what they think of the coming format. Duelist Advance, but also, thereafter with how K9 is being structured, how Vanquish Soul is going to be now. Just kind of everyone's thoughts and opinions of July 2025. And it seems like it's pretty hit or miss. Some people think it's healthy. Some people think that this is the worst because of the cards that are being produced, like how, Chummies and Droll and Lancia and all these cards shouldn't exist. I hate to tell you, but they're gonna exist. There's thousands of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, literally. You can't ban them all, and you gotta have, that's kind of the whole fun thing around it is like, okay, back in Snake Eye format, right, when everyone was on summon limit and, anti-spell and this and that, and floodgate this, power sink stone, there's always gonna be something that people have to hate, right? And I think the people that are somewhat hating what the format is going to be, what's coming down the line with, the yummy cards and all that. I'm excited, right? And I've stated before that I'm probably going to remain with White Forest because I enjoy a challenge, right? So it's taking a deck that I enjoy and that I like and changing the cards that I have in it to fit a format where my engine is good and it's just maybe my extra deck and side deck and tech choices in the main deck that change, but the engine itself remains the same. And the engine that I like is White Forest. White Forest Azamina, Sinful Spoils, that whole ordeal. Because I personally like it. I thought it was always a cool lore perspective of, Diabell Star, obviously, Goth Mommy. Just liked the way the deck played at first and as it evolved, and especially with the, Vengeance and the Field Spell and then the Foolish Burial package, being able to Foolish Burial any spell or trap, and the fact that Goods is at 3 and we can, have good access to it. I'm excited to go into the next format and see what I can do with the deck that I like. And I think decks nowadays are getting a bit more fast-paced with Malice, Mitsurugi, Rizal, K9, Yummy, Vanquish Soul. It's becoming very much like a who wins the die roll kind of matters. And with Tenpai being taken out, you don't just have this blind going second, although one could argue that, Exodia is also a good option because I believe Lava Golem is going to be good this coming format. Exodia has played Lava Golem, super poly. You basically just need to do like a couple things and you OTK the opponent. It's pretty easy. And you don't really care much about the extra deck, so you could play like Pot of Extravagance. Although if you banish all 3 Exodias, yeah, you're just him or her. But I just wanted to take this to kind of throw my thoughts out there, and whether people care or not or listen, just another person on the internet's perspective and opinion, that I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think, right? We still have Droll, we still have Lancia, we got Chummies. So if you're a deck that like RDA, right? Throw 6 Chummies in the deck and call it a day. And if you're going first because you won the die roll and you get double Fuwood, that's gonna suck, right? No matter what deck you play. Well, I guess it might matter, but that's a good way to stop your opponent from either just giving you all the gas in the world and then you have every card and it's like, cool, I don't even need to search. I can just do all my stuff from the hand and it's not even going to matter whether you stop this or search this because I already have everything in my hands. Droll, I think, is very healthy because if not, it's like, okay, if you're gonna let Mitsurugi Rizal just play, and I have nothing to stop them, turn 0, right? They're going first, they want the die roll, whatever, they're just gonna pop off. Well, what am I gonna do? And I think that's the good thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the fun thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the whole deck building aspect of it. You know, are you playing 60 cards and not seeing as many hand traps? How many engines are you running? Like, it's the whole like mathematical equation of, you know, engine to non-engine to what are your non-engine choices going to be? What event are you going to? What do you see at your locals? What spice are you bringing? So I know I might get some hate for that, right? Joel, I think, is healthy. Chummies, I think, are healthy because, you know, like if my deck gets drolled and I don't have salesman or cross out or called by, then you just won that. I mean, am I upset that in that moment, like, oh my God, droll exists? But when I've got, you know, my draw 5 in my opening hand against Mitsurugi Rizal, and all I see is droll, and none of my chummies, nothing. It's just gas and then a droll and a dream. I think everyone can agree in that instance, I am so glad I have droll, because otherwise it's going to be a real bad time because they're going to fully pop off. And even if so, like, Malice has lines under Lancia, Mitsurugi Rizal has lines under droll. I mean, you're still going to end with something. You're just hindering your opponent from making a full, like, unbreakable board with so much interaction to, you know, you're limiting it to just like maybe a couple cards they were able to just poop out, which I think is fair game, right? Because you're doing it, I'm doing it. If you don't draw it or I don't draw it, you know, then it's engine versus engine, you know, whatever, it's Yu-Gi-Oh, have fun. But I think the more generic floodgates going first kind of sucks, although I know in my deck profile I play deck lockdown, I play D-barrier. It's a way to win on my turn, right? Like if I know I'm going against Dragon Tail in the future, or Yummy, or, you know, whatever broken deck, because we have those 3 like flip fusion synchro decks coming out. Like there's always going to be like the next power creep, the next broken thing. And it's just going to be something to complain about, where you should see it as a challenge of, if you're picking up the new decks, cool, how are you going to play in the current meta? You know, what tech choices are you going to make? Is DD Crow going to be better? Is Imperm going to be off the radar? Is Bestial going to be coming back because it's light and darks? You know, I think, to me, at least my opinion, that's what I enjoy. And I think that's why I kind of like White Forest, because the engine is, I'm not going to say stupid strong, but relatively speaking, the engine has good amount of extension. You know, I can go this way or that way or roundabout and still, you know, have like a Saint and a Diabell and Vengeance and Diabellze, and it's like, my Ash and Imperm didn't even matter, and, you know, yeah. But I don't think the format is going to be as bad as people think it is. There's always going to be, like I said, something to complain about, the next broken thing. Like, Konami needs to sell product, right? And what do is you give players the next new shiny thing. Like, you know, they gave us Malice and Rizal and Ryugi, or whatever that one was. And they made Mitsurugi like, hey, here's a cool thing, here's even a cool thing, and they're gonna take it away soon, right? Because they need to sell the next product, and they're gonna, you know, limit the new ritual that just tributes from the deck, or hit ritual spell to 1, or, you know, whatever the case might be. And it's just gonna be an ongoing thing forever and ever and ever. So you shouldn't. Basically what I'm trying to say is, you shouldn't have your headspace in this like negative cloud of, oh my God, this next thing is going to be broken and it's going to be stupid and it's going to be impossible, and oh my God, this new deck is just going to be like doing everything. I've only been playing this game for about 2 years now, and with every set that drops, every new cards that come out, it's literally the same thing I always hear. If you don't enjoy the game, don't fucking play the game, right? Don't bring your negative energy around here. Like when I go to locals, I'm there for a good time, a chill time. You know, if my opponent had droll 6 times, cool, then you're just better than me. Maybe I gotta look at like, okay, do I throw a cross out into the mix? That way I have, 5 cards to counter droll? And it goes back to the whole deck building process. And, you know, I'm not mad at it. If my opponent just had the droll and they, you know, shuffled good or their ratios were good, then that's on them, right? And if I lost, then that's probably on me. Now, granted, you know, sometimes like, you know, playing locals the past few weeks, it's like, okay, I did just brick, right? Like I just hard bricked, didn't have a single normal summon, special summon, nothing. And my opponent just had full combo and everything in the world. There's nothing you can do about that. Although one could argue you could go back to the deck building and say like, okay, you know, how are my ratios and this and that. But statistically speaking, right, if I were to build 1,000,000 cards, a certain percentage of those will just have defects, right? They're just gonna be scuffed. The machine produces the same thing over and 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 over again. Mathematically, you're gonna have errors. No matter what it is, no matter what you do, statistically speaking, you will have errors. And those are your brick hands. Those are your bad games. Those are your, you know, okay, I'm gonna go first and you drew Bubkiss and you just pass to your opponent. You don't set a card, you don't play a card, nothing. You just hope and pray that the 1 Ash Blossom or the 3 Ash Blossoms you have in your hand are enough to stop your opponent. So without making this video too long, again, just if you see this, just try to remember to be positive. You know, have fun with it. Try to figure out like, okay, these are the decks that coming out. What are the choices I can make to better my own deck? Or maybe like, you know, during the Rise of format, Fire King, it's like, hey, yeah, pop my stuff. This is the perfect time to play Fire King. It's like, is there a deck that's good right now that I can play that no one's really talking about that would be good in this format? You know, being able to have those tit for tats and that whole turn 0, turn 1 play. It's like, you know, just have fun with the game. Just have fun with the game. If you don't enjoy it, then, you know, come back later or sell all your stuff and we'll never see you again, or take it the opposite direction. How can I make this work for me? So yeah, with that being said, I just wanted to get that opinion out there. Like I said, I will be producing more content more regularly because I do enjoy it. And as you can see, the office is becoming more of like a thing. We got lights, we got good cameras, we got sound deadening, we got new microphones, new equipment. So I'm hoping that the quality of everything is improving. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, leave it in the comments below and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.